So what's your first memory of the sport of baseball?
Well, my parents have pictures of me playing t-ball. My first memory, honestly, is playing t-ball, and I remember hitting a ball and getting robbed by, like, the star on the other team. And I remember after the game, like, crying, shaking their hands because we just got beat. That's probably my youngest memory right there.
You mentioned your parents. How big a role have they played in this whole process as you went up through the ranks?
They've been supportive the whole way, honestly. You know, they've stuck it out through thick and thin. I mean, they traveled with me every summer, it seemed like. We would go to a tournament somewhere from the age of, I don't know, 9 or 10 until high school.
Now, your father coached a couple of your teams, right?
Many.
What's the biggest thing you learned from him throughout the years?
Respect the game. That's always been the big key. Whether it's in the game itself or in practice, you got to earn the right to be there.
Was there any tough part about the transition from high school baseball to college baseball?
I think the toughest part in anything is just something new, getting into a routine. I don't think that was probably the toughest part. I loved the coaching staff there was great. They were like my dad. They were like, you got to go 100%. You got to earn your way here. So I think for me it was more just learning the mental toughness aspect of the game. That was probably the toughest part. Is just learning to deal with things, negative things when they come, and just flip the switch. And being able to just stay positive all the time. You
mentioned negative things, but you did have an awful lot of success from the beginning at Virginia. How much easier does that make things when you are playing well?
I mean, success for anyone's easy. I think the toughest part, any guy will tell you, is when you're going bad. You know, how quickly can you turn it around, and how positive can you stay? When you're out on the field, yeah, you do everything you can to win, but once you leave, whether you're 0 for 4 or 4 for 4, you got to go home to a loving wife, who I have, and a baby on the way, and you got to just show them love. And regardless of how well you did, nothing should change.
What was that day like when the Yankees drafted you 106th overall?
Oh, shoot. I mean, I was ecstatic. You know, I know the tradition and the history that the Yankees have. Everyone does. So knowing that, I was just like, I was blown away, knowing that the opportunities ahead that lied ahead. Play with the likes of Jeter and Mariano. I mean, who could ask for more than that?
Now, getting to the big leagues was a bit of a process for you. Had to deal with some injuries. How difficult was it for you to battle back from the ankle injury and from the back issues?
Well, the back I wasn't too worried about, honestly. The biggest struggle was the ankle. And, you know, that was, honestly, there were points, you know, after a year and a half when it just wasn't right, where I was like, you know, is this really what I'm meant to do? You know, and I really had to do some soul searching. I mean, the priorities, I mean, are God, my wife, my family, and then baseball in the end, you know. So on the priority list, baseball's 3rd or 4th, and you just have to put things into perspective that, you know what, it's a game. And yeah, of course I love this game, and this is what I want to do, but if it's not what I'm meant to do, then in the end, so be it.
Go back to 2010 when we were having the ankle issues. That was at the time where the Yankees were trying to make a major deal for Cliff Lee. You hear your name involved in it. What goes through your mind as you hear the trade rumors?
Well, shoot, at the time, I mean, I thought of it as, you know, I was ecstatic. I mean, it's an opportunity for me, knowing that we have Jeter, we have Cano, we have A-Rod. I mean, the infield's locked up through, I don't know how many more years. So for me at the time, it's like, oh, this is awesome. But you know what, it wasn't meant to be. So you know what, you just take it with a grain of salt and just move on.
Fast forward to this season, and the Yankees kind of got in a situation with all the injuries that they've had, that they had to do some numbers crunching with their roster and trying to fit people in. They released you. What was going through your mind at that particular point in time when this organization, the only organization that you have known, said, we just don't have room for you on the 40-man roster right now?
It was hard. I mean, my initial reaction was, well, when I got the call from Cashman, I knew it couldn't be anything good, because I was hurt, and I knew he wasn't going to call and say, hey, you're going to make the team. So for me, it was, I think that the emotion that kept coming to my head was just, you got to get your mind right and really get focused, because there's opportunities that lie ahead, and for me, it was just lock it in.
Why sign back with this team?
Again, it boils down to opportunities. For me, it was the best opportunity, knowing all the injuries that the team had. I mean, there's an opportunity at third, an opportunity anywhere in the infield as a utility guy. So for me, ultimately, that was the biggest factor.
Is this experience what you thought it would be?
And more. You know, it's like I said, it's a dream come true. Especially walking out there, I mean, Hall of Famers are galore. I mean, Mo, Jeter, Ichiro, probably, I mean, Cano eventually. I mean, it's endless, it seems like. And who can imagine playing with the likes of those guys?